Dobrodošli u Kišoviziju.
Dobar dan i dobrodošli u našu 66. epizodu našeg podcasta Kišovizije. Danas imamo jednu jako zanimljivu temu i dvije gošće. Jedna će se priključiti online preko Zooma, a druga je tu s nama. Točnije, s nama je tu profesorica Valerija Graciano, čije istraživanje i aktivizam preispituje workfare, neplaćeni rad mladih i samo ideju da više rada znači i veću vrijednost. Te nam se preko Zooma priključila i profesorica Sanja Bojanić, čiji rad o kulturi, spolu i društvenoj jednakosti istražuje kako svakodnevne prakse, brige, priznanja i jednakosti mogu preoblikovati institucije i promijeniti naše razumijevanje rada. Dobar dan i dobro nam došli.
Dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
Dakle, današnji podcast će biti baziran tako da ćemo miksati malo oba jezika, malo ćemo pričati na engleskom, malo ćemo pričati na hrvatskom. Ne znam ako vi imate neko pitanje na putak na početku, neko za nas.
Dobro, dobar dan. Ja bih samo voljela reći da sam u Rijeci iz Rijeke, međutim Valerija Graciano nam dolazi iz Engleske i mi ćemo svičati između jezika, između ostalog i zbog toga. Valerija nam je došla zato što je bila, ona će reći svoj razlog, ali meni je to dragocjeno jer sam na taj način, neizvjestan način dovela ljude koji drugačije misle, drugačije nas vide, drugačije daju nam ideje kako ćemo se mijenjati i kako možemo biti bolji. Vale, maybe you can say a word or two. What were your motives when you came to Rijeka?
So hello everyone, and hvala, puno hvala for switching to English while I am studying your beautiful language, but it's, I'm afraid, not podcast ready so far. So yeah, I'm originally from Torino in Italy, but I live in Rijeka since 5 years ago, and I just joined the university last April, so just a few months. As part of the program, the Croatia has a program for internationalizing their teaching their faculty members. So they're bringing some more diversity, I suppose. Yeah, and my partner's from here. My son is born here, so I feel I'm arriving. And yeah, glad to meet you, to have this experience tonight.
So how do you like it in Rijeka? Is it everything you expected from it, or?
It's amazing to be back in the south, in the Mediterranean area, for sure. As an Italian, and after 20 years of London, it feels great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now we are going to talk about work. What do you think about work? Does it give you butterflies or shivers? Is a question that is often asked by and to students or people who are just starting their work life. So you have some reports and surveys that show some results. Can you talk about it to us, please?
Go ahead,
Sanja, shall I start? Okay.
Yeah.
Shivers or butterflies is a really good question. And I'd be interested to hear what you both think of those two feelings. But unfortunately, if we look at the studies, the most recently produced statistics worldwide looking at how people feel about their jobs, we are leaning much more towards the shivering than the butterflying. The latest Gallup report says that more than 60% of people say that they're disengaged with their work. They don't care, they find it boring or just gruesome. And 1 in 5 even says that they're miserable. And in Europe, it's only 13% of people that say that they're enthusiastic about their work and fulfilled. So we can see that there's definitely something that we could call a crisis in this area, which is one of the biggest areas in everybody's life, right? So we spend most of our waking hours either working or organizing around work, getting to work, preparing for work, etc. And so with Sanya at the Center for Advanced Studies, we've been putting together this new program that we hope to launch in the coming times, which is called Work and Wellbeing, and that through an interdisciplinary approach, so anthropology, sociology, work relations and more, looks a little bit critically at what's the situation there. And how people feel, but also what are alternatives maybe to some of those critical aspects.
So have you seen some patterns in the results? Are they age-related? So maybe the younger people tend to feel the butterflies more or shivers more. Have you seen the difference in those?
I would say definitely there's the usual, social markers, your gender, your age group, your if you're able-bodied or not, all of those in class are all factors that definitely shape those statistics. I would say in terms of young people, there are interesting kind of studies, because it seems that the young generation, it's more demanding with work. There's and for all the politicians just love to criticize Gen Z and whatever. They're lazy. They love to stay on the couch. I just remember, I don't know, from England, Rishi Sunak is notoriously love to say that every young person in the country is they lack resilience. Macron also in France.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly the picture. The picture is more complicated. I think we are all under this pressure that we want work to be fulfilling also existentially and socially. And I think there is a genuine opportunity and I think a legitimate demand that our work feel useful for society, to build the society we want. And again, unfortunately, more and more works that are on offer do not carry that promise forward. So I think young people are in a predicament, so to speak, that we need to find answers for, if possible. Yeah.
Do you have something to add, maybe?
Yeah, I can jump in. U stvari, ono što bih htjela dodati i što je bio i motiv zašto smo krenuli razmišljati o tome kako pripremati program, jedan studijski program o radu i dobrobiti, kako ga prevodimo na hrvatski, je da recimo da je rad ili labor, work, da je to nešto što je stečena kulturološka činjenica, da to je nešto normalno, jel? I ako je već tako normalizirano, kako se mi spremamo za taj rad? I onda, kako i Valerija i ja imamo iskustva u nastavi, jel? Na sveučilišnoj razini, vrlo često se susrećem sa tim da ispred sebe imam mlade ljude koji ne znaju kako će se pripremiti za taj prelaz, za tu inicijaciju koja se događa nakon što se završi studiranje. Ne govorimo sad i o toj, malo prije smo evocirali o toj situaciji u kojoj mora se raditi da bi se moglo i studirati i na izvjestan način preživjeti taj period iniciranja u radni status, u neku zrelost ili u neko doba kada smo kao spremni suočiti se sa svim poteškoćama koje rad donosi. Rad ima prerogativ ili taj neki predznak da se ili voli ili se ne voli. I sad kad smo mi rekli kad pomisliš na rad, da li ti to izaziva uzbuđenje, neke leptiriće ili ti to izaziva jezu. Mislim, to je ključna stvar, a zašto želimo o tome misliti skupa, učiti i podučavati, to je također jedan dodatni aspekt, jer to želimo raditi na jedan način koji je interdisciplinarni. Dakle, ne samo kao iz ekonomske perspektive, ne iz pravne perspektive, ne samo ni isključivo iz kulturološke perspektive. Ana Marija to dobro poznaje jer studira psihologiju, dakle ne i samo psihološke segmente toga što rad donosi, ali činjenica je da da rad predstavlja jedan proces i jednu novu fazu u životu koju svi mi imamo ili smo je prošli ili ćemo je proći, ali da analitički, kritički se o tome može raditi da bi nam i to kao proces bilo prihvatljivije, da bismo pronašli neki balans, jel? Jer je to je poanta. Nećemo leptiriće, nećemo jezu, a ako imamo jezu ili ako imamo tu strah i te tjeskobe, zašto do njih dolazi, kao i zašto smo uzbuđeni. Jer svatko od nas kad počinje raditi, naravno da se želi dokazati, naravno da želi dati sve i da ima veliki entuzijazam. Međutim, što se to dogodi da se taj entuzijazam prekine? Evo.
Dakle, vi na neki način pokušavate mladima omogućiti da nađu to nešto za što su oni zainteresirani, ako sam dobro shvatila.
I to, da znaju misliti, da znaju dati smisao tome što studiraju i da kroz taj smisao izgrade svoj well-being, svoj dobrobit, da vide što im donosi život, koja su ta mjesta koja su zadovoljavajuća i gdje se mogu ispuniti svoje vrijeme ili zašto mladi prokrastiniraju. Mislim, zašto se događa da ste na mobitelima, da ne mladima, to se događa svima, ali zašto se to događa? Gdje su te faze ili koji su to segmenti našeg života koji nam kao zasićenje daju neke sadržaje gdje više se blokiramo i ne možemo dalje. I to je ovo što u stvari, Valeria, you can definitely talk more about that culture of exhaustion. What is it, how this green culture appears and what does it bring to us?
Yeah, grind culture or hustle culture. Is there a Croatian version of this?
I've thought about it, and I don't think we have a word for it. But the thing that we are talking about is very present in this time. Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, you confirm as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in our parents, I think that they are the ones that are still under the pressure, that they still have to do a lot of work, because my parents said that in the last country they were in, they had this system that they had to work a lot to earn something. And now I think it's kind of more chill, if I can say, that it's like you can balance the work and the thing that is sorry, I've brain fog.
No.
I think there is a balance, yeah.
There is a balance, yeah. Hopefully there is some good direction to be explored. It's interesting you speak about your parents, because actually I find that grind culture, hustle culture, they're global online subcultural phenomena, if you want. Probably that's also why you probably use the English word even locally.
Yeah.
Because, these global cultures travel in the global English language. But what I wanted to say is that they are particularly vicious because they kind of create this construct, this ideology that really targets young people or people that are out of jobs, maybe in precarious situations or unemployed, looking for bettering their condition or very frustrated with their job that they're maybe stuck in. And so you probably heard there's like a whole set of gurus of various kinds, Gary Vee comes to mind, who is a notorious one. They produce for themselves an income, basically putting out their content and advice on how you should love your grind and your sweat. And the more you put in, you need to build your brand. Weekends are for losers. Forget family or friendship. Those are all excuses for not making your first $1 million. And more. I don't think I need to recite the whole credo of grind culture, which of course is all funny and ironic and is all good for a laugh, but it has very serious toxic consequences on mental health. And I suppose it's some kind of a new take on the kind of internalized work ethics that is, I think, a longer cultural trait in this part of the world, at least. Kind of European American kind of intergenerational stories that we tell about work is that it defines our worth, right? It defines our status, and again, there's a lot of confusion that I think it's interesting to unpack there, because on the one hand, the wording when we use are not so precise. So working means producing or laboring, like doing something that contributes to a collectivity. It's about caring for people, etc. Unfortunately, when we start to talk about work in the contemporary sense, work is something that is tied to profit making. So it's not necessarily that we get jobs that are useful, but we are offered jobs that are profitable for someone else. And so grind culture is kind of strange because it really internalizes this to the extreme and really pushes, especially young people, but not only, their audiences to internalize exhaustion are like a victory. Like, I'm only worth it if I work, this 996, like working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. That should be your optimal. So there's a lot of that. And of course, like many global phenomenon, we are seeing a reaction to that, I would say. And you tell me if this speaks to you as well, or what form does it take locally. So there's been a lot of talk about these anti-work kind of movements or cultural movements. For example, in China, their young generations are practicing what they call tangping, which translates with lying flat. And it's like thousands of young people, especially, they film themselves literally lying on the floor sometimes to make the point that they don't want the life that their parents had, because this idea that if you work hard, you will be rewarded eventually financially or with status and so forth, does not necessarily work anymore. And then you have, of course, even from a longer time, I don't know if you're in Japan, these hikikomori tendencies of people that just refuse to leave their rooms, or adolescents fear. They just, connect through the social media or video gaming to the outside world. And then more recently through COVID, we saw very interesting mass phenomena that I think reveal a lot as like epochal symptoms of where we are at with our satisfaction with work and the meaning we find in it. So in US, sociologists started to notice right after the COVID, about 10 million workers quit their work in between 2021-22, which is a lot of people. And that was not because they had another job waiting for them, but simply because they, after the lockdowns and maybe reflecting on what conditions they want for their lives, they found it unbearable to continue under the conditions they were in. And here in Europe, we hear the media a lot speak about silent quitting, which is yet another name that you might have encountered. And that describes less like actually quitting a job, but more staying in the job, but really trying to find all the workarounds to do the minimal required. Which I have sympathy for, but at the same time, again, there's a psychic cost in going through life disengaged and cynical. I think it makes for a very sad, like year in, year out, one really needs to, what are we doing to ourselves and why? And why cannot we have different organizations?
I think now everything is different, because in the past I've seen in my relatives that they work in the one firm for almost all their life, and they build their status at the work, and they put all of them into that work. And today people jump from one job to another. It's my opinion. In my opinion, I think so. And my mom is often like surprised by it, because she works at this firm, and she found it really hard to leave the other firm that she was into. And now people are just going from one job to another because they are earning more money. So my generation, in my opinion, is more open to new experiences, and we are not so closed off to everything. Like, we're fully open-minded, if I can say so. What do you
Jeste,
think?
ali evo vidiš, to što ste sada rekli se vezuje i za širi društveni, ekonomski i politički kontekst. Što je to što je dovelo da su neke politike na izvjestan način fidelizirale ili držale do svojih radnika, i gdje je radno okruženje bilo tako da si vrlo brzo postao prijatelj i generacijama prijatelj sa ljudima sa kojima si radio. Danas zbog tog letećeg statusa, promjena, nećemo ga sad zvati, nije bitno kakav je kapitalizam, liberalni, iliberalni i tako redom, zbog tog diktata novca, posao je potpuno neizvjestan, što je rekla i Valerija, potpuno precarious, znači potpuno su oni koji ulaze na tržište rada ugroženi, jer se prvo nisu spremili za tako nešto, tradicionalno im je bilo govoreno da trebaju se dokazivati i onda izgaraju. I onda je taj novi fenomen koji je jako važan, nije novi fenomen, ali svakako je sada artikuliran na jedan drugačiji način, ta pojava i o čemu smo rekli, ili tihog, te neke ljenosti, ali onda izgaranja gdje ne možeš više ni kontrolirati što radiš, na koji način želiš pokazati drugima da možeš, da si u stanju, i samome sebi škodiš, jel? I sad, kako se nositi sa stresom? Da li ćemo se nositi sa stresom tako što ćemo raditi alkoholizirani ili pod drugim supstancama, ili ćemo ići po savjete na nekoj drugoj strani, ali smisao koji se formira i način na koji formiramo odnos prema radu je nevjerojatno kompleksan, i rangiranja rada, što je fizički rad, što je intelektualni rad, klasiranja, klasificiranja, sve to ne ide nam u prilog, i sve to ne vodi ka nekoj dobrobiti. Ako nam je cilj da možemo, kako ste ispomenuli, pronaći neku ravnotežu, ili da možemo težiti ostvarenju svoga života, ja? Da li će to biti obitelj, da li će to biti izabrana obitelj, da li želimo ostati sami, na koji način želimo se razvijati i stariti, ja? To je sve uvjetovano isto i mjestom na kojem radimo ili ne radimo, mjesto kojem pripadamo ili ne pripadamo. Isto ta pripadnost koja se gleda kroz to gdje radiš, kako radiš, pa onda naravno koje su nadoknade za koje dobijaš za taj posao. Sve su to prepreke, ali sve su to prepreke koje se mogu i ako se pripreme mladi ljudi. Sad prije svega se obraćamo mladim ljudima, vama koji ste još uvijek ili na studijima ili radite u studije. Sve su to i teme o kojima se može razgovarati na jedan analitičan i na kritičan način, gdje onda kada izađete na to tržište, kako god da je, rada, vi ćete znati što dalje. Naprosto bit ćete istrenirani, bit ćete spremni. Nadajmo se da naći ćete zaraditi i u Hrvatskoj, ali možemo se pitati zašto ljudi idu iz Hrvatske, zašto mladi ljudi imaju tendenciju ići odavde. Možda je to sada i sljedeći neki prijelaz, kakvi su sve sad oblici rada. Razgovarala sam danas s kolegicom jednom i oni rade u open offices, to te super moderne Google i šta ja znam, startup offices, i ona mi kaže da osjeća da je kao da joj neko oduzima intimu. Ne zato što ne znam šta ona radi intimno na tom poslu, nego i onda kada misli ili kada se muči ili kada se priprema, kao da je neprestano u izlogu. Znači, kakav je to rad, taj moderni oblik rada i taj rad u kojem se stalno pokazuje performans, stalno se moramo dokazivati, kako je obrnuto proporcionalna kvaliteta takve vrste rada. Znači, so maybe Valeria, you can go on with surveillance and control.
I can.
Yeah, you can.
Sure. This is very interesting because I'm following largely what you're talking about, but I also, anyway. Surveillance and control. Yes. We were chatting briefly, I'm saying this for those who are listening, about AI just before starting to be on air. And again, it's one of those big topics that probably deserves its own, its own dedicated conversation. Yeah. But in short, I suppose one of the topics that it seems very relevant when thinking about work and well-being, it's really this big disruption that we are living through in our lifetime, which is not something we can discuss easily with the people that came before us in those kitchen table conversations, because it's I think it's not just qualitatively, but it's like a real deep difference in encountering automation, what they even call like total automation or full automation as an horizon. So in terms of like the statistics or the studies, it's a jungle out there. There's very so the people that are engaged in these deep econometric studies of the impact of full automation tendentially disagree, but everybody agrees that it's going to be, I think moderate estimate is 1 in 8 jobs is gonna disappear.
Yeah, that seems possible.
It seems harsh, like a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It's my first thought when I think of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And to lose one's job, that's one of the things I love to end maybe this conversation, but I can circle back to this later. I don't think it's necessarily bad in the sense, I'll unpack this, in the sense that, look, our species being has been making tools since we can track what we do with our intelligences, and it's our way to inhabit the earth is to mediate those encounters and complicate our relations through tools, right? And now, so technology has always been a companion to these processes of making or remaking the world. So I think, in short, there's also always been a promise through automation and technology that a lot of the jobs that are gruesome, hard on the body or boring in the mind could be actually automated away.
Yeah.
And that promise, I think somehow it's worth holding on to critically at a distance, but as a trajectory that marks some of the tools that we have surrounding us. in short. And then on the other hand, the surveillance part of the tech it's true. Nowadays, most of us encounter this new way of technologization in the tasks that we are given as workers, mostly as a surveillance and productivity requirements. So if you're familiar with this expression bossware,
No,
like
surprisingly, no.
spyware or fitware or just any technology, but bossware are a number of softwares or other kinds of devices that are specifically used increasingly actually from firms to surveil and control their workers, and they're usually very intrusive. There's of all kinds. They can monitor your screen activity, how many letters you're typing per minute, or there's one that even claims to be measuring employees' smiles, because when they do counter services, that they need to smile at a specific angle. So it's there.
Yeah, it sounds like dystopian to me, because I've heard that some firms are even using eye trackers to check the people's, like the employees' eye movement to see what they are doing. Are they doing their job? And it's kind of
Feels oppressive.
Yeah, like you don't have the power to do what you're supposed to do because somebody doesn't trust you enough. In my opinion, it's like that.
Yeah, we're imperfect. That's what makes us human.
Yeah. So
absolutely, and it reveals a lot about the quality of the relation at the job place, right? Because so that's I mean, just not to leave it in the dark for those who are listening, there's plenty of hacks and like tricks that workers for example, there's one that I love. It's called the mouse jiggler. You can buy it online on a number of sites, and basically there are all kinds of machines that shake your mouse or make it or mimic you typing to cheat the bossware so that you can go and get a coffee break or something of that sort.
It's crazy, because why do we even need to do that stuff? Is it that important that we are fully like I don't know how to say it. Is it that important that we need to do that? I don't think so.
Yeah, it feels like it's one step away from treating the employees as robots.
Yeah, and we're not. We're humans. We make mistakes. We need time to be free. Like we need a break. We need to get a coffee, to talk to other people.
I mean,
Evo vidite, to sada što govorite, to su u stvari sve pitanja sa kojima ste motivirani da slušate i radite s nama ono što mi pripremamo za rad i dobrobit. Because the main thing is that in a way to approach the living creatively, to approach the meaning of life creatively, you need to resist sometimes. You need to build your resilience. You need to cheat, to demonstrate that you can overcome certain situations. I to je upravo to što je sad spominjala i Valerija, gdje iz želje da ostvarite svoju slobodu i autonomiju, ili mi svi da ostvarimo slobodu i autonomiju, mi ulazimo u neke kreativne situacije o kojima je Valerija i radila u okviru jednog projekta Snađi se druže. So to figure it out how we can overcome some constraints, and maybe that could be maybe Vale, you can just say a few more words on that Snađi se druže, because that was the part of your research as well.
Sure. I love that expression, by the way. It's so good. So Snađi se druže was one of the projects that brought me to Rijeka in collaboration with Drugo More, which is a cultural center association in downtown Rijeka, and other partners across Europe. We were looking at these popular legalisms, we call them. So these small hacks that are not crimes, it's nothing. It's
Loopholes.
Exactly. Finding loopholes, finding workarounds. And it was a very beautiful research because some teams were looking more at what happens online in kind of remote work and tech, and others were looking how women intergenerationally, like even through Yugoslavia, kind of smuggling goods from the border with Italy. It's a really beautiful collective mapping of various aspects of this. But one thing that comes across very strongly is that because of this, so how much people need to find these ways to cheat, to just have a life just for everyday survival and thrival. And unfortunately, one of the darker aspects seems to us that this is probably one component psychologically of these populist sentiments that then make a lot of people look up to gangster or these kind of personalities that claim that they're above the laws.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of short circuit because you have the most powerful tycoons on earth that flaunt the ways they're untouchable and they can just cheat and lie and steal. And then you have a vast majority of populations that struggle and they must cheat systems that are really not working for them. And then these two kind of connect across this ideology that is kind of fun to cheat. So that creates its own complications, I would say. But yeah, anyway, there's a little book online for those who want to see some stories from the region, Rijeka.
A guide how to cheat, or
Yes.
kind of.
Yeah,
Kind of.
there's a bit of that, but
Nice. When you were talking about the gurus earlier, I thought about Andrew Tate. I don't know if you're informed about
Wow.
who he is.
unfortunately,
Well,
yes.
he is teaching a lot of young people, a lot of young boys especially, how to cheat the system and how to treat women badly. And especially the women who are underpaid and work in the jobs like in the fields that are based on, I don't know how to say it in English, my brain is not working, ali u održavanju, o čistoći i o svemu tome.
Maintain.
Maintain.
Yeah, and he's teaching them how to treat them wrong, and it's very bad, and it's kind of giving us another picture of the world that we need to put others below us to bring us up. So it's kind of bad. I don't know, that came to my mind when you were talking
No,
about
thank you very much, Anna Maria, because you brought very important aspect of gender in work and how it's related, and how we when I say we, it's nowadays whoever is there, but how we inherited through different systems some underlying injustices that are deep, and it's not just. It is, of course, an issue of gender, but unpaid work, invisible work, still a work, still a labor, hard labor. And it's not a coincidence that žena koja se porađa, that the pain that she's going through to deliver, it's a labor. So this is something that is also enrooted in what we have culturally, and it's good to talk about it, especially with students. And one of our motives is to address these topics that are like, yeah, it's quite normal, but when you dig into that and try to understand, you can do a lot of research, like that research that Valeria was speaking about with Snađi se druže.
Yeah. And Alex, do you have something to add maybe?
No,
questions?
I don't have anything to add to that. No, I can't.
Well,
You're not
Are you
in
a fan of
labor,
Andrew
Alex.
Tate?
Not yet.
Are you a fan?
No, I don't even follow him. I don't
Yeah.
even listen to him.
And I have another question that came to mind now. So, how is it in Croatia? Do women have paid leave when they give birth? Do they have like a year or more? Do you know something?
I know this from my sister. I think they have a year, but they can go up to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it paid like half when you go to the third year? Or how is it managed?
I'm
It's
not
on your employer.
100% sure.
Is it different from employer to employer?
Oh, it is, and then it's also depending on how long are you working. There is a tremendous injustice, for example, that you need to work for at least 6 months to become pregnant, yeah, and then you start working, and then you cannot deliver your baby and go on your maternity leave secured, because you need to work for 6 months at least to get that from the state. So it's well, social services, a lot to discuss, and a lot injustices that are not visible.
Yeah, it's very demotivating for us young people because, the birth rate is already low, and with conditions like that, it's going to be even lower, because today there are a lot of jobs that do not pay enough for us to live a normal life, to have a normal apartment, to live happily only with one work. As an example, I'm still a student and I work just to pay off my hobbies and stuff. I'm not a full-time worker, but I still earn money so that I can spend it on the stuff that I want. And one day I was just looking at my bank account, and I was thinking, what would I do if my parents didn't pay me for my college and for everything that I need? Because I couldn't live with like maybe 500 or 400 euros a month. And I know that the old people, penzije su jako male u Hrvatskoj.
Yeah.
Retirement funds, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that the system should be more focused on that, on the youngest people and on the oldest people, because we are the groups that are most endangered. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the most unstable.
Yeah.
financially, not mentally. Well, that's debatable.
Your intuitions are very good, actually. Yes, of course. And this relates to how do we consider care, and what is to care about, or care as such. So, Vale, maybe you can drop us a bit of care and work
Sure.
topic.
Yeah, gender is definitely, I think, one of the major axes. It gives us such a sharp lens to just open up reflections on work and well-being. I actually think that that we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that even to have something like a maternity leave that is paid, or the right to take it, it's a hard-won battle of working-class women across the globe.
Yeah.
And it's a very recent guarantee, which is actually being chipped away. And in places like the US, even with a prosperous economy, by all measures, they never managed to secure that right? So leave alone the rest of the globe. So I think in a way, within Europe, the conversation we ought to have perhaps has to do with how we reopen our horizons when we can talk about welfare as a public service for all these categories that you were talking about. And on Andrew Tate, I can only say that it seems that the what is probably not even lost on his followers is how compensatory these moves are. We have a population of people that find it easier and gratifying on the quick to build themselves up by pushing others down, aka women they can prey on and take advantage of. However, the bigger pictures would require them, I think to get out of that perspective, one needs to have kind of more critical conversations and find some ways to analyze what are the reasons you feel so frustrated and disempowered and entitled to certain things, because all these narratives are bigger than just one person. Others are actually saying that these kind of phenomena are the symptom that a certain patriarchy is really out, that there's actually less and less of a chance to for these kind of societal ideas to take hold. But I don't know. This is, again, probably for another in-depth conversation. What I can say more, maybe to end on the question on gender very quickly, is that it impacts work in so many ways that this would be the whole project of study, but definitely in the immediate, the statistic, not even speak but scream of a gender divide around unpaid care work, domestic work, or intergenerational care work. So even the idea that the mother has to take time away from her job to take care of intergenerational reproduction, it's a given, but we could maybe have conversations around what that is. Just some data on the quick. Every day there's 12 billion hours of unpaid care work performed by women daily globally, which amounts to a $10.8 trillion per year, which is 3 times the volume of revenue of the global tech industry. So, when you think Apple, Google, multiply that by 3, and you have the value of unpaid care work performed by women daily. Another report talks about that every day, women on average spend 2.2 hours and a half more, working more than their counterparts. And of course, we know there's more genders than just those two, but statistics are very kind of flat compilations of those, not very nuanced, unfortunately. Gender impacts what you study. There's chances that we see this in classrooms every day and so career paths, gain prospects, etc. And there's also this angle on the third shift, which maybe is interesting to always keep in mind, that comes from, again, a feminist understanding of unpaid labor. So on top of having to make a living and also care work and domestic work, the third shift speaks of the kind of unbalanced pressure on women to present in a certain way. So looks, makeup, going to the gym, massage hair, etc., to somehow perform a gender role that is being scripted for us.
So it's kind of not a good note to end on, but we should, because we have another topic to talk about after the clip. So I want to say thank you to you and thank you for this chat. We were very glad to have you here and to talk with you. I hope it was nice for you too. And yes.
It was very nice, thank you.
Hvala vam puno i sad bi zamolili Marka da nam pusti jedan klipić sa našeg Student Day Festivala.
Evo, dragi gledatelji, dobrodošli na podcast vezan za Student Day Festival. Danas je s nama daleka obala.
Jakše i Krepe.
Pa evo, za početak, jeste li ikad prije bili na Student Day Festivalu?
Mene je prvi put.
Je, i mene prvi put.
Ali bila sam na dosta vaših koncerata i uvijek je jako puno studenata. Kakav vam je to osjećaj da vas studenti vole slušati? Pa vidi,
nama daleka obala uvijek bila studentski bend. Kad smo mi počeli, znači tad davno, onda u Zagrebu kad smo došli, prvo su nam studenti došli, prenijeli su poruku iz Splita, ali već se pričalo dole da ima jedan bend. I tako smo biti cijelu tu karijeru, onu staru, imali sa studentima I onda smo pričekali 20 godina da se ti studenti ožene, dobiju svoju djecu, svoje studente i kad su studenti postali studenti, evo nas opet.
Evo za nove studente nas, evo tu ponovo.
Znači za novu generaciju.
Mi smo studentski bend.
A ima li neke razlike u publici prije starih studenata i ovih današnjih novih?
Pa ne mogu sad reći, studenti su uvijek studenti, to je uvijek ono...
Mladi ludi.
Mladi ludi, šta će naš, ono. Tako da nama je uvijek isto, ono, publika je ta zahtjevna, nemaš njim udlat, ali i zahvalna.
Je, ali lijepo je da ove nove generacije koje su sad došle, da znaju pjesme Daleke obale i da se nastavlja taj kontinuitet, ono, poznavanje tih pjesama i da svi pjevaju vrlo grlovito.
Ma je, poslije 20 godina pauze, znači stvarno je ono, ljudi su vježbali.
Ako nisu naučili do sad,
Ako nisu dosta naučili, dali smo im dovoljno vremena.
kad sam mogao ja naučiti tekst, onda mogu i oni.
Pjevate dugi niz godina, koja je možda vaša neka omiljena pjesma?
Aj jao, sad omiljena pjesma.
Nama je sad zadnje vrijeme, na meni, a mislim bendu Valovi.
Valovi je prva pjesma koja je band, kad sam ja prvi put band Sraka me zvao, ćemo pravi band, onda mi osvira tu pismu. Tako da su Valovi, da, na neku ruku uvijek sve prisutni u ovoj našoj priči, a pogotovo što su tu morske pjesme, ljubav, more, a Valovi su tu. Velovi plešu bump, znaš da mi je bump, da to je ples. To je band rekao, niko me nije pitao za te stihove. Znači, niko ne zna što to znači, manje više zna naša generacija. More igra bump. Bump je bio ples tamo 70-ih u doba disco i bila je pjesma Lady Bump, a plesalo se tako da, jak će ustani.
Ja se nisam onda ni rodio.
Znači ovako kreni se malo polu leđima, onda ovako, bum.
Pa ovo je nova koreografija.
To je tako Valovi, tako isto je Valovi.
Sve sam naučio.
Tako da je to band, taj stih, bam, super ubacija.
Bump. Eto, to vam je bump, dragi studenti.
A imate možda neku pjesmu koje niste fan?
A ne možeš tako. To
Da, baš.
Znaš,
čudno pitanje.
A onda možda za koju ste mislili da neće biti toliko popularna, a popularna?
A znaš šta, ne misliš ti to ništa. Mi pogotovo tad nije bilo ko danas koja, nismo ni spotove radili, imali smo televizije, to su nam bili spotovi kad smo bili na televiziji. Tako da je to drugačije bilo vrijeme i...
A i danas, prosti što te prekidam, i danas ti uopće ne znaš što će biti hit. Znači mi kad radimo pjesmu, sad će li biti hit ili ne, to se samo dogodi, ti na to ne možeš utjecati.
Radiš ono uvijek isto, radiš od srca,
to je bitno,
ono što znaš, mi radimo ono što znamo
i to je dovoljno.
Da.
Ali ne idemo sa nekom tenzom, će biti hit, imamo mi osjećaj, ovi moglo bi hit, ali u biti publika. Tako, možda sasvim drugačije razmišlja nego mi, jer smo mi unutra u toj pjesmi, recimo, radimo mjesec dana, mi smo skroz unutra, mi znamo svaku pojedinost koju vi ne čujete i ne osjećate, mi smo već vezani za nekakve druge stvari. Tako da na kraju misliš ova će biti hit, ispadne skroz 100 ispadne hit.
Hrepe, vi ste od samog početka u Dalekoj obali.
Da.
Kako je ukratko izgledao taj put? Zašto ime Daleka obala?
Koliko godina imamo, koliko sati imamo intervju? Pa vidi, Daleka obala po pjesmi Daleka obala. Znači, prvo band smo bili u bendu kad se dva bani glomazni otpad. I onda sada bi upalo pluća i ta jedna svirka je pukla i onda su se javili dečki neki drugi, taj bend je se raspao. Javili su se drugi momci, ekipa i onda nastala prva postava Daleke obale i do 85. Tako da smo mi u ta tri mjeseca prve postave, manje više sve pjesme, Ban ih samo izbaciva iz sebe i mi smo to zajedno s njim plivali u te valove, plesali bump.
A ideja ovog benda sada što radimo Daleka obala Jakše Hrepe, to je jedna od frakcija koja, znači Daleka obala je imala puno frakcija. Ali pošto je nama Hrepa naš guru, zato što je on suosnivač sa Banom Daleke obale, mi radimo sad na foru kako su Marijan Ban i Hrepa počimali i u kojem su stilu radili te pjesme. Tako da je to ovo ljepota kako mi sad radimo.
Baš sam slušala novu pjesmu i ima baš fule slična, niste ništa promijenili, neki bendovi mijenjaju.
Promijenili smo nekakve groove, promijenili smo sami aranžman, zapravo vratila se akustična gitara u prvi plan, kao što je nekad bila. Znači ovim drugim što vi čujete po pločama ili već ovi dizerima gdje se već to sluša muza, onda tu ima električna gitara, mi smo vratili akustičnu. To je taj početni iskonski.
Da, ili biti pisme Daleke obale su pisme za plažu, za zadnji red u autobusu, za ekskurzije, znači te pisme su na jednoj gitaru i svi pivaju. I to je tako, mi prenosimo na takav način. ali...
Kad Galeb zavodi neku drugu, a ti tamo plaćeš sa strane, kako ne zavodi
Mislim,
tebe.
ali to što bi mi svirači smo tu uvijek bili u lošoj poziciji, znači ja se sjećam, sviramo mi, svi uživaju, jedan put, nestali svi, ljube se oko mraka.
Cura, da,
Ljube se mrako, ja sviram.
Ti glumiš DJ-a. Ti glumiš DJ-a.
I sad evo jedno malo pitanje za kraj. Imate pjesmu Tonka, Roza, Marica, Gordana. Su to neke specifične žene?
Iz Rinka ima čak više, iz Rinka.
Rinka.
Ne, te tajne ne smijemo davati. To su
Ali ja mislim da su one istinite.
Da, svaka pjesma ima svoje ime, ali ne pravo ime.
Okay.
Tako da ovo je...
Evo, hvala vam puno. Očekujemo, vidjeli smo jednu pjesmu, možda izađe album.
Evo sad radimo dalje pa ćemo
Da smo na par autorskih pjesama koje radimo, ali polako radimo, imamo nekakav svoj tempo kako napredujemo, u biti radimo, želimo da bude kvalitetno, da bude i da je bend dobro sviran i da smo na jednom profesionalnom nivou, a onda polako se izlazi sa radom i trudom. Što želim vama studentima da radite, da vježbaju, da se trudite, i da postanete divna akademska zajednica i da se znate zabaviti. To je bitno. I da ne idete na cake.
Hoćemo. Hvala vam puno.
Duprite se roditeljima.
Marko.
Evo nas nazad. Nadamo se da vam se svidio ovaj intervju. To je bila naša ekipica iz Daleke obale koja nas je počastila svojim prisustvom na Student Day Festivalu. Kako je vama bilo?
Odlično.
Ja sam bio samo na prvom danu, ali bilo je genijalno.
Razočaranje, zašto?
Zato jer malo sam se zeznuo taj vikend, imao sam smjenu u subotu i do navečer sam već bio mrtav umoran, nije mi se dalo ići.
Propustio si jako dobar
Ali
party.
puno više ljudi je bilo zapravo u petak nego u subotu.
Misliš?
Da.
Ja mislim da nije.
Jako puno ljudi sam čula koji su mi rekli kao da mi smo bili u petak nego u subotu.
Ja sam čula jako puno obrnuto i policija mi je rekla da je bilo više u subotu.
Koliko je bilo ljudi kad?
Nemam pojma, točno, zato što stručne procjene sam davala ja. Što se tiče toga i nas par, uglavnom, i mi smo davali stručne procjene. Naša stručna procjena se vrlo vjerojatno jako razlikuje od pravog stvarnog broja.
Dobro, koja je tvoja stručna procjena bila?
Moja stručna procjena u ponoć u petak je bila 1500 i njegova također, dakle 2000, manje od 2000 ljudi oko ponoć, a kasnije oko 1-2, to je bilo duplo više, sigurno duplo više od toga. Tako da ja vjerujem da je u tom prostoru, makar prvog dana, bilo oko 4000 ljudi, mojem nekom logikom. A drugoga dana, na početku smo startali dosta onako gradijalno, dolazili smo pomalo. I kada smo već bili na, ajmo reći, baksu ili na pekiju, tada smo već bili jako dobri. Baš sam snimala do zgora, na kraju smo bili najbolji. Baš sam snimala do zgora, to je bila gužva, ljudi su se naguravali, baš mi je bilo drago to vidjeti, onako kao prvi put i kada sam jako sretna.
Što radi žena, što radi.
Mira mi mikrofon. Prvi put da sam bila jako sretna zbog toga što ima masa ljudi, što se ljudi guraju onako. Tako da.
Da se ne sjećate prošle godine kad je baby lazanja bio, to je bilo ono... rad da se dođe van, a kamoli unutra.
Ja sam slikala od ozgora kad je bio baby lazanja.
To je bilo...
I onda smo objavili tu sliku pa ga je baby lazanja objavi na svom storiju. I onda je ona eksplodirala onako s pregledima, ali na toj slici se vidi koliko puno ljudi. Mislim, to je bila senzacija.
Bilo je ljeto.
Prvo to, veliki plus, ali drugo što je baby lazanja bio senzacija. To je bilo onako, ne znam ako se Marko sjeća, koliko? 2 tjedna nakon Eurovizije, tako nešto.
Malo više.
2-3 tjedna nakon Eurovizije. Sad ću znat kad je bilo. Mi smo bili 12. 15. snimali Silente, oni su tad gledali, 2-3 tjedna nakon. I to je gorilo je i onda su se svi samo razbježali.
Da, zato što svi su očekivali baš.
Svi su razbježali.
Evo, Svale se javlja kao i uvijek. Moja stručna praksa da se... Dobro, okej. Svale, želiš li ti karte za crkvu ovoga petka? Jer ako da, ti si naš očito sretan dobiti. Ili možda i nisi, imamo još jednu osobu. Nisam dirala mikrofon pada samo od sebe, nisam ga dirala. Evo imam žalbu iz redakcije, mikrofon mi pada i ne znam, vidite
htjela bi vas
redakciju.
pitat kako vam je bilo na Student Day Festivalu, ali nema puno ljudi unutra, tako da vas nemam šta pitat.
Svale,
Nama je bilo
jesi li ti
super.
bio?
A evo mogu ja reći da ja sam osjetila u petak ujutro da mi je grlo onako pod nekim vakumom.
Vakuum.
Kužiš, znaš kada
Da,
sjetiš?
kad te stišće nešto.
Da.
I bila sam kao ako krenem pjevat večeras, onda sam ja šutila oba dana. Koliko sam mogla. Koliko su mi dali ljudi oko mene da šutim.
Da, dakle, ja sam isto prvi dan se baš istrošila i ubila, zato što mi je baš jedva sam čekala da dođe taj Student Day Festival.
I onda drugi dan vidiš nas dvije.
Dakle, mi kao bez glasa tamo intervjuiramo njih, ali meni je drugi dan bio možda čak i bolji, jer zapravo ne bolji što se tiče zabave, nego
Organizacija naša.
da, jer smo već bili spremni. Prvi dan nas je malo uhvatilo nespremne, to što su kamera nam nije htjela raditi, a intervjue smo morali odraditi, stoga smo brisali sve što imamo u galeriji da bi napravili makar malo mjesta.
Obrisala sam sve razgovore s WhatsAppa, sad nema više ništa.
Ako vidite da ima ne zna tko se, kad joj se javite, više nema taj razgovor. Da. Tako da...
Da, ja se sjećam, dolazi pozdrav za Čozu koji nam je omogućio sve što nam je mogao omogućiti. Volim tog čovjeka. I onda je on išao po peki i ja taman da ću se predstaviti. Meni pukne glas kao
Da.
ja ma dobro, kratko ćemo te intervjuati. Ma ništa se ti debri, ništa je tebi s glasom bilo. Tako da, evo, možete očekivati kroz
koji dan, da.
Da, odlučili smo da ćemo svaki dan objaviti jedan intervju.
Mhm.
Gdje je intervju sa idem?
Što?
Gdje je reel za idem?
Aha, Ril. To je jedna mala greškica, stručna. Ja ipak, razumijete, studenti smo ovdje, ja to pišem izvještaj za ocjenu.
Dobro, šalim se.
Ali imate cijeli intervju, to vam još bolje, nećete ništa propustiti ako to pogledate. Svale, računamo na tvoj jedan pregled, sigurno, minimalno jedan.
Ima pregleda. Nemojte tako, ima oko 30-ak pregleda.
I by the way, ja sam se izmučila isto kad sam tražila, kad sam mi pitala kako se piše Antun idem, kao jel pišemo Antun idem, jel pišemo samo idem, jel pišemo Antun Aleksa, jel kako se zove.
A postavili smo Antun idem.
Tako da, nadamo se, vjerujemo da će se prepoznati u tome.
Nadam se. Ali evo, moramo reći da nećete dobiti intervju sa 30. zonom.
Da, ajme da!
Da.
Ajme, to nije mi ni pao na pamet. Uglavnom, bilo je u planu intervjuirati 30. zonu. Nažalost, nisu došli na tonsku probu. Kada smo ih mi planirali intervjuirati, kasnije je došlo opet do tehničkih problema. Nama mikrofoni nisu se htjeli spojiti.
A i jedan od ekipe je išao tako da nam je bilo glupo jednoga.
Da,
ili sve ili ništa.
Tako je, njih dvoje nije da ih je baš onako 10, mogli bi oba dvojica, ali nažalost Toni nam je bio jako izdeprimiran zbog toga.
Toni, ali dobro, osjetili su ga sa dečki iz 30. zone, tako
to mu je
da...
popravilo dan. Tako da, meni je bilo jako drago što je došao i Juki, koji je još ovdje mladi na JEM sceni. Bio je i Baks, i Peki, i Ide, i TTM, ekipa TTM.
Znači, jedna velika ljubav za TTM. Pričali smo sa Perijem. Ne znam, ako sam krivo rekla, mozak mi ne radi, već sam 12 sati na faksu bila. Ja mogu reći da to je jedna od najdržih javnih osoba koje sam ja upoznala.
Tako, znači mi smo tako lijepo, ležerno pričali s njim 40 minuta.
Jako lijepo.
Onda je došao. Nemamo jednog gledatelja, nego dva.
Jej.
Baš,
jako,
svi su bili jako dragi.
Jako su me svi ugodno, svaki izvođač me jako ugodno iznenadio.
Tako je,
i Peki, i dobro, Baksa si ti upoznala 15,000 puta, to ne moramo reći.
Znači meni su svi bili baš dobri. I prvi dan. Znači...
I Krankšvester me oduševio koliko su normalni. Mislim, možda to sad glupo zvuči, ali...
A nije, jer su niko fol neke face i onda kad dođe...
bubice, baš su slatki.
Ili daleka obala, ja sam očekivala da nisu tako ludi.
Rasplesali su se, možete pogledati na našem videu kad su krenuli plesat.
Tako je. Tako da sad kad smo već pri kraju,
evo, slažem se.
Mogli bi odraditi naš giveaway. Ne znam ako ste oba dvojica zainteresirani.
4 gledatelja.
Imamo 4.
Wow. Znači, ipak sad moramo raditi nešto dobro. Evo, sad ćemo smisliti neku nagradu. Ajme, meni se piše. Ja moram na WC.
Sada ćemo mi
Evo,
brzo
sad
karte
ćemo
podijeliti.
karte
Malo smo zbagali. Ja
Znači,
gledam
mozak
svoj
mi se gasi
mikrofon.
ovako.
Ja namještam svoj
Pip,
mikrofon.
Pip, 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 pip. Pip, 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 pip,
By the way, svale i onda, zašto vi nas stalno gledate? Smo vam tako zanimljivi. Recite da, ako je
I
odgovor.
preporučite nas drugim ljudima.
Tako je.
Apsolutno.
By the way, želite li karte? Ponovno pitamo. Ja glasam da svale dobije. Može.
Oh my god.
Ako smo svi suglasni, onda može.
Ja sam malo gušim, ispričavam se za vaše uši. Opa, rimuje se.
Wow, šta? By the way, evo sad ovako možemo podijeliti te karte. Ne znam ako ćemo igrati neku igru ako je jedna osoba zainteresirana.
Pa ako nam se javi ova treća osoba, možemo onda neko kolo sreće baciti. Samo nam se javi u komentare.
Da.
Pa da onda malo vas ubacimo neki wheel.
A ako dobijete karte, vidimo se onda u petak. Ja također idem.
Ona će biti tamo.
Ja idem intervjuirati ekipicu.
Šta je onda za Jakova, ali ideš?
Jakov je subotu i nisam pitala.
Ne.
Mogu pitati ako si za...
Ako još ja ne mogu ovako ići.
Dobro, da
Onda ćeš ozdraviti.
Ali možeš pitati da li možemo na Tonsku doći.
To bi ful mogao.
To pitaj za intervju, pa lako koncert, bit će još 100 koncerata.
Da. Tako da evo, ako
Evo
se
mi smo
niko
sad
nije
vidjeli
javio-
dogovaranje ovdje. Niko se, ajde, ovaj treći javi se da bude bar malo napeto.
Krivo si napisao, Marko.
Jezinović ili
Napravio sam,
Jezinović.
Kada smo sad evo na kraju i niko se drugi nije javio.
Evo četvrti, molim vas. Ako još neko gleda od Svale i Onde, ove dvije osobe, da napišu svoj username u komentare da vas možemo ubaciti u wheel da igramo nagradnu igru. Ako ne napišete u sljedećih par minuta, samo ćemo dati njima karte, jer moramo vidjeti da li ste aktivni gledatelji.
Let's go. Što nas ne voliš? Volimo vas evo jako. Vi ste naši najdraži gledatelji. Svale dobija, vjerujem u njega. A gdje je Toni?
Toni uči.
Stvarno?
Tu neko i uči naspram nas dvije.
Ja sutra pišem izvještaj.
Ja nemam, znaš kako je na mom faksu funkcionira ovaj semestar, ja imam 6 ispita.
To je relativno malo.
To je jako malo. Iz 3 predmeta, znači računaj da je jedan sada, jedan je u prvom mjesecu. I ta sva 3 ispita su u istom tjednu.
Tako je normalno.
Znači kako je to moguće, ljudi moji? Što se nismo mogli malo ovako... Ne?
Ljudi,
Očito
ja
ne.
mislim da je krajnji moment da podijelimo karte. Evo, već smo prošli svo vrijeme. Dakle, ako onda idemo tako, karte dobiva naš kolega Svale Iglić.
Jednu kartu dobi...
Ne, 2 karte.
1 puta 2 karte.
Da.
Okay.
Dakle, Svale, nadamo se da ćeš uzeti još nekoga sa sobom, no ipak nećeš doći
Vjerovatno
sam.
će to biti onde.
Da, javi nam se samo ponovno, znaš ti našu proceduru, javi nam se na Instagram, ja ti pošaljem sve što
Moramo
ti
ih
treba.
jednom zvati u live s nama.
Tako je, Svale i onda
Definitivno.
ako me vidite u crkvi, dođite mi da se upoznamo. I onda...
Vjerovatno će vas pitati za izjavu, tako da se pripremite.
A neću u crkvi, nema šanse, ali... da. Tako je. Vidimo se nekom drugom prilikom.
Evo Marko priprema radio sovu, naš ne
Javite
priprema.
nam se.
Ali ako ne znate šta raditi sad,
Da.
možete ići slušati radio sovu. Mi smo bili prošli tjedan, jako je fora. Da imamo malo više vremena, vjerovatno bi nas i tamo slušali. Ali...
Ovim putem molimo Marko da zagasi današnji live stream. I
Bye,
to je
bye,
to.
ljubići.
Javite nam se ljudi. Pusa bok.
Bye.